In this video, I'll show you how we can take the first step into modeling our low poly game character by modeling out the torso. In order to create the torso for my character, I'm going to start with a low poly piece of geometry like a cube. I'm going to give it the scale I want. I'm going to add a couple divisions in the height, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to model this using something called the subdivision method. By pressing 3 on my keyboard, you'll see that I can smooth out the shape of my overall cube. This shows what it would look like if the program smoothed it out twice. This gives me an opportunity to almost play with this like a stretchy clay ball kind of a thing, so that I'm not moving while I'm moving individual verts, what I'm seeing is the overall effect of what it would look like if I ran a smooth operation on it. That's where Maya will take the model and quadrangulate it. Basically, for every face, it'll create 4 faces and round them out. This is really great for modeling organic shapes like characters or organic mechanical objects, because the computer is much better at creating these smooth curves and arcs than I am. So I'm just selecting these edges and moving them around my scene. I'm not really using any reference for this at the moment. I'm sort of going off of instincts for what I think I want the character to be shaped like. One of the advantages of working this way is by working with such a low resolution mesh to start with, I get to sort of just experiment with what makes sense to me. There I hit D on my keyboard to change the pivot point of my controller so that I could scale it in the axis that I wanted. And anytime you want, you can hit that D key and to move the pivot for whatever selection you have. Sometimes you want to move things in a specific direction. I have symmetry turned on here in the world, which helps me grab just one vert and move anything I want. And I'm just pushing things around. In a second, I'll hit 1 on the keyboard to show you what it looks like here. So I pulled out some limbs for the upper body, just trying some things out with the shoulders. I didn't really like that. But you see, if we hit 1, this is what our model actually looks like. Versus if we hit 3, we see what it would look like if it was smoothed out twice. So I'm overall liking the shape that I have here, the sort of sense of torso. And now I can hit smooth on my keyboard once, and you see that it did that operation. It smoothed it out in the shape that the computer was predicting for me. This is much faster way of getting that shape than if I just tried to model all of those pieces out individually and tried to move those verts and faces one by one. Now, while I'm going to be making edits to this torso later, that's actually a really good start for my model. It gets a sense of personality, form, it's decidedly feminine, while at the same time not being too exaggerated or having too much geometry. Remember, this is low poly art. We want to keep it pretty simple. In the next video, I'm going to take these same techniques to creating the head, ears, and hair details for our character.